your entertainment with GoTV.
How does this work? You need to listen to me.
Pay your account now and we'll upgrade you to the next GoTV package. Don't wait. Pay now and step up to more for the whole family.
That's exactly what I want.
GoTV. Live it, love it.
News on the go with Diamond TV, powered by MTN.
The United Nations for the Tourism Organization has agreed, and we are urging all our citizens, the tourists, that please, we are running with a theme that stay home and travel tomorrow. Where it is necessary for you to travel, make sure that you adhere to the UN, WTO, and the World Health Organization guidelines, including our local programs that is being promoted by the Ministry of Health, to making sure that we keep social distance, we wash our hands, and more so, let us stay home and travel tomorrow. It is important that we stay home for the safety of ourselves and for the safety of our neighbors. The World Health, the possibility of the COVID-19 to having been spread from one person to another is real. So we need to stay home so that we can protect ourselves. Last time we did announce that we had 12 of the foreign tourists, the German, who were stranded because the South African authority could not allow them passage to Frankfurt. I am happy to report that today, 9 of them are flying out at 13:15 using the Ethiopian airline. They will go through London and eventually be in Germany. And the remaining 3 will be flying on Saturday straight from here to Ethiopia and to Frankfurt, which is in Germany. So I want to appreciate the German government for facilitating the smooth movement of their citizens, those that were stranded, who came as tourists, who could not connect due to the lockdown of our neighboring countries. So we want to say thank you to the German government and to the Zambian government under the leadership of His Excellency Dr. Edgar Chagwa for not closing the Kenneth Kaunda International Airport, because the effect would have been big if the airport was also closed. This could have seen that the tourists who could have been in Zambia by the time of the lockdown, they could have been stranded. So as we are speaking now, our friends, our German friends, 9 of them are traveling back to their home country this afternoon, and the 3 will be traveling to Germany on Saturday. Thank you so much. And this ends the update in terms of the tourism sector concerning the effects of the COVID-19 in Zambia. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and good morning. First and foremost, we want to sincerely thank His Excellency, the President of this great republic, for the measures that who obviously fall under the umbrella of the disabled and obviously the blind and those that are most hit economically. So we took some measures as a ministry, and what we started doing as of yesterday is that obviously across Lusaka, which is the epicenter, we've started mobilizing those that beg on the streets, especially the blind and the disabled and the vulnerable. And we have told them to get off the street. Obviously, their core business on the street is obviously to get arms, and obviously purely because they are hungry. So in conjunction with DMMU, we have food supplies, which we'll be distributing in their homes so that we allow them to stay at home and keep them off the streets. And also we have taken a step further. As of tomorrow, we are going to do inspections under the Juvenile Act, Cap 53 of the laws of Zambia, where we'll actually round all those children or adults that are on the streets, in the bus stations, in the markets, and even just on the corridors. And obviously through our system, our social workers, and obviously with my colleague here, our sister ministry, the Ministry of Youth and Sport, we work in conjunction. Our operations will begin as of tomorrow, where we'll actually begin the relocation of some of our children, our elderly, and also the disabled. And then we'll move into the Copper Belt on Saturday, where we'll actually do the same program. Currently, our social workers and our ministry are on the ground to actually sensitize our people. We are also doing the decongestion of our aftercare homes. For example, the one in Material, obviously, we've had some decongestion, so some of them are now being moved to other homes. And obviously, when you look at our ministry, for us, it's more of a community problem. And maybe let me also take this opportunity before I actually even dwell further to just appeal to individuals, their companies, and also our cooperating partners to really come on board. Because obviously, amidst this pandemic, we need a lot of food supplies within our homes and the various institutions. And I just want to put emphasis that giving out arms is not wrong, but the way we give out arms, especially to the blind on the street and the street children, is not correct. If we could only do it through institutions, then this theme of stay home will actually be reinforced. We have our children come on the streets purely because they want to beg, and obviously they want to expedite other measures in terms of monitoring. So if these could actually be given through our institutions, and then we take them to their homes, and obviously the institutions that will relocate them to, it will work out better for us. And also, I just wanted to also speak about the social cash transfer. Lusaka being the epicenter, we will obviously, through the Ministry of Finance, be distributing the social cash transfer, obviously in line to help our most vulnerable stay at home and come out in the streets to obviously beg and obviously look for other means of survival. And in terms of the relocation of some of our street children, the most vulnerable, and the elderly. But we have also taken a step further, you know, through our social workers. Most of those that are on the streets, most of them have homes, and obviously they're on the streets because most of them have been rejected, obviously because of monetary and financial implications. So we have been speaking to these families to assure them that as we these beneficiaries under our ministry will give them support in terms of food supplies, so that these people are actually reintegrated into society or the communities, so that at the end of the day, it makes government's work much easier. Because then we will not have this decongestion in the aftercare or the homes that these people are actually being kept. And I think we should all begin to emulate the spirit of Ubuntu. All of us have a role to take. We have a role to to play in terms of our most vulnerable. Whatever we can do in ensuring that we can even donate anything, especially this is a very critical time to help them. The reason, and I want to repeat, the reason that we see our brothers and sisters out on the street, obviously is the issue of hunger. They want to obviously get something. So we are encouraging members of the public at this juncture to not give them arms. If, for example, you want to give them food or you want to give them money, please, can we do that through the various institutions? Then we'll keep them off the streets. Then the stay-home theory will actually work for us. So maybe at this time I'll allow my brother to say something.
Thank you very much. Under our ministry, it's our policy and our mandate to make sure that we end streetism in Zambia. In the last few weeks or few days, we have been doing a head count of streets in Lusaka as well as Copperbelt. In Lusaka, we have 350 street kids on the streets. In Kitwe, we have 320. In Ndola, we have 250. Let me also seize this opportunity to thank His Excellency, the President of Zambia, Dr. Edgar Changa Lungu, for making sure that our ministry is provided with the finances which it needs in making sure that we end streetism. We are going to end streetism by removing the street kids from the streets and taking them to orphanage centers. We have identified certain orphanage centers in Lusaka and other parts of the country. In Lusaka, we are taking them to Fountain of Hope, as well as Chikumbi and many other orphanage centers. We have made sure that we provide food, beddings for the street kids who are going to be moved to these orphanage centers. And we have made sure that we are going to have caretakers who are going to take care of the street kids, make sure that they cook for them, make sure that the environment is conducive for a young one to live there. And we are going to do this through the Child Protection Unit, which is under Zambia Police, and also with the street educators. And I want to warn those mothers who actually release babies to those who beg along the streets. This time, once we move street vendors or street kids from the streets, we are going to make sure that all those who go back to the streets, we are going to invoke the Juvenile Act, Cap 53 of the laws of Zambia. This act provides that anyone who goes to the streets shall be arrested and legal litigation will follow thereafter. We have to make sure that we protect the interest of the child. For us to be where we are today, it's because our parents took care of us. They didn't take us to the streets, instead they took us to school. We should make sure that all the street kids are taken back to school. Education is an equalizer, and the government of His Excellency Dr. Edgar Changa Lungu wants to make sure that all the street kids are given an opportunity to be in class and acquire the education which they need. Thank you very much.
So maybe just to further add on, our appeal as a ministry is to our beneficiaries under the community social and community services is to please stay home, and help is coming. And maybe let me just highlight, it's just not Lusaka and Copperbelt where the food supplies will be delivered, obviously in line to allow them to stay off the streets. We are going to be doing Nakonde, Chililawombwe, Chirundu, Kafiwe, Kitwe, Ndola, Chongwe, Chilanga, and Kabwe. So I see no reason why our vulnerable clients, or the blind or the disabled, should be on the street. After thorough interrogation, the price so this will be provided to them. And maybe just to highlight, the ministry also has an empowerment program for our disabled and vulnerable, and it's an ongoing process. Obviously, we we cannot manage to empower everybody at once, but this is a process that has been going on so that we have a sustainable solution to keep them off the street. If they're able to sell within the locality of their homes, it works out better for them. And also, government has not sat idle. We are under the Ministry of Community Development and Social Services implementing what we're calling the Cash Plus. So those that are on the social cash transfer also benefit from the food security pack and also benefit from other programs, the PWAS. So these are people that are actually taken care of. And I hope at this very trying time for us as a country, we could hold hands and sensitize as many of our people out there, because the COVID-19 is actually here and it is real. So thank you very much. Okay. Thank you very much. We have actually been distributing the social cash transfer per cycle. Of course, we did have a few challenges, but obviously we are in a pandemic session. So we have been, the Council of Ministers has been talking cash transfer. You'll find that most of the beneficiaries are the vulnerable, the elderly, or child-headed homes. So money has been set aside, and obviously this is a program that is sustainable. And maybe let me take this opportunity also to thank our cooperating partners who've agreed to also sign for the additional financing. So I might not give figures now, because obviously we do hope, just like when we had floods, we had the emergency social cash transfer. So we do expect more of the monies to flow in. So to give an accurate figure would be a bit premature at the moment. But as we are speaking, money has been set out for Central Province and Lusaka. And next month we are launching the SIP, where we also be giving out also to other selected. So this is a sustainable program. And obviously, when we look at sustainability, that is when we are calling upon everybody. This is not just government's problem. It's a problem for everybody. So if it's not, the social cash transfer in itself is not enough. We need more aid to come on board. We need our cooperating partners, even individuals, companies to come in. Even a drop would be more than enough. It's not the package really that matters. At the end of the day, it is the thought. So this is a worked out program, something that is obviously sustainable. And when we talk about the food supplies are actually in. We'll do the distribution tomorrow. We'll begin the distribution tomorrow. This is money that is here, so we're just waiting for clearance from the Ministry of Health whether we should actually go in, because sometimes we have contact in the distribution of these funds. So we were working out a system or a mechanism that would be actually conducive for everybody.
All the children are not going to be accommodated at Fountain of Hope. They are going to be spread across the city of Lusaka. The Long Street children who are coming from Lusaka. In total, there are 350. If you look at Chikumbi, it has a bed space of 60. And if you look at Fountain of Hope, it has a bed space of less than 100. So we are spreading them across Lusaka in many orphanage centers, and I can safely say that all the 350 street kids who have been identified will be absorbed in these orphanage centers.
My name is Gladys from Zambia Business Times. My question is on the social cash transfer. I want to find out the mechanism that you are going to use to identify these beneficiaries. In talking of numbers, how many, like if you approximate in terms of numbers, how many you intended to identify?
Thank you very much. Actually, we do already have an existing database. So we have the numbers already. Currently, across the country, we have 635,000 plus beneficiaries. So these beneficiaries already sit on our database. So what we will do is, per district, for example, Lusaka, if we have 200,000, we will just go. That is why if you've noticed, in the last 2 days, our people that beg on the street, especially the blind, are actually in their homes because we had discussions. We have been actually couching them in terms of sensitization on the COVID-19, and they clearly understand that. So because of the database that sits within our ministry, we are able to actually deliver their supplies and whatever it is that they need within the vicinity of their homes or their localities. Thank you very much. It's a two-way thing. Most of the people that are on the streets, like the elderly, most of them already have existing homes, but they're on the streets because they're vulnerable. They're on the streets because they're looking for arms. They're on the streets because they're looking for that have homes will be handled within the homes. Those that have places to go, probably they came in from Luapula and they're in Lusaka, will be relocated to their homes. And I think the biggest challenge looking at our statistics is, even if I go back home, what will I eat? So these food packs will be given to them. And I think that is why I looked at some of the districts that we are beginning with, because after looking at the figures, we are able to round out where actually these people are coming from. And of course, we have aftercare homes, for example, Matero. We have where we just don't look after the elderly. We also look at people that are stranded. We look at people that just don't have anywhere to go. So these people will actually be, if we find that Matero Aftercare is decongested, we'll decongest Matero Aftercare and obviously take them to Kabwe. That will be the nearest point. But as a ministry, we have infrastructure which is dotted across the country. And obviously, government does not work in silence. We obviously combat and do everything possible to also work with other ministries. For example, the Ministry of Home Affairs and obviously the Ministry of Youth and Sport. So the infrastructure and the institutions are actually there. And that is why we're saying that the issue of giving out arms and help could be done through the institutions, because we are the ones with the database. We are the ones with the actual beneficiaries of those people that actually need the help.
On the street kids and what you're going to do, but many times when you get them off the street, but again they still resort going back to the street to beg. What stringent measures have you put in place to ensure that they don't go back on the street again? Then the time frame, looking at the danger that we are in as a country, I believe this should be done like yesterday for the vulnerable. When soon do you expect a response from the Ministry of Health on the social cash transfer project for Lusaka and Zim?
I'll allow my colleague to answer the issue of the street kids. But in regards with it already within our our ministry accounts. And obviously, in the midst of the COVID-19, obviously, we were talking about social distancing. Obviously, our social workers and the distribution of the social cash transfer had to be done in a way that is obviously going to be safe for our beneficiaries and those that will be administering the social cash transfer. And then also, what I would want to highlight is that we know that this is a problem, and obviously the measures should be like yesterday. Like I stated in my opening remarks, we'll begin the program as of tomorrow morning, where we are starting with Lusaka. But what I want to say is that in the period before the distribution of the food packs, we obviously had to sensitize our beneficiaries, the vulnerable, our elderly, the child-dead homes, the blind, on the measures and what the dangers of COVID-19 is and why they should not be found on the streets. And this is something I think we have come to terms with, and they're agreeable. So as I'm speaking right now, they're in their homes. So obviously there's a procurement process where we have to procure some of these supplies, and obviously we have to follow the guidelines and regulations. And obviously this has been done, and I know that some of the supplies started coming in today. So that is why we're saying, as we begin this robust patrolling within the bus stations and the markets, we'll also begin to go into their homes through our social workers, and obviously more sensitization will actually be given to them.
Thank you very much. Chimunya did ask that many are the times that street kids are removed from the streets, but yet they go back to the streets. So that's the we're going to go to make sure that they go back. We need to understand that every time you approach their point, maybe they are found by the robots. They will automatically come to your car and touch them. And if they are having that's what they are having, that virus which can be passed to anyone who touches your car once you come back home. So the government has realized that kids get transmission of COVID-19. That's why we're making sure that we remove them out of the streets to make sure that they don't go back.
News on the go with Diamond TV, powered by MTN.
Here's a little song that we wrote for you. The words are very simple and they're only two. Scream it, just scream it. Like the moonlight adds a little light in the dark, you got to add a little light in your car. Scream it, just scream it. Scream it. Ichilana mukaka. Scream it. Ona kutikama. Scream it.
Introducing Creamit Tea and Coffee Creamer. It's not a coffee till you cream it. Trade Kings, improving lives.
With the children.
Woo-hoo! We're revving up for a roller coaster ride of fun and feels for everyone on Box Office. There's loads of laughing out loud, bouncing about, and flinging around.
Totally awesome. Come here, party.
Well, that's disappointing.
You don't want to miss this rip-roaring ride.
Go faster!
Enjoy these movies and more straight from from the cinema to the comfort of your home. When you rate on Box Office by DSTV.
Spread, nipaniko iyo chona wa mtengere iyo, noti zigoro iyo. Wild cat.
Impact yawe, ipange ibiri kutoka tunwine pamo.
Chademo. Chaficha.
Upangiga.
I'm afraid we don't speak that language here. Please speak English.
I said we require a double dosage. 2 bottles of an uninhibited kitten vitality thirst-quenching beverage known as Wild Cat.
Exactly.